I'm the first one to do that. I bet you never knew that. Back like a tailbone. Who you got the tail on? If it ain't about me, about whole D, about face. If you ain't on higher, learn it. The soda in the pot and the fire, burn it.
Blood, the Last Vampire is a Japanese horror action film that has been directed by Haruyuki Kawakuto and been written by Kenji Kamiyama. It's also been produced by Production IG and Manga Entertainment in the year 2000. A vampire named Saya is part of a secret government agency that destroys demons. She is sent to a military school in order to discover who is the devil in disguise. I thought this anime was fantastic, and it pulled me in a lot to the point where when I watch manga films and manga shows and OVAs in general, they like to come at a perspective of creativity. But what I like about this anime is that it pulled me in from a horrific aspect when it's mixed with action, tension, dialogue, suspense, and a lot of good creepiness when it comes to you feeling uncomfortable. And Blood the Last Vampire, it focuses on those aspects, but it likes to focus on the realization of fighting demons and using a vampire to do so. For those who are into or just familiar with the original movie Blade from the 1990s, you're going to be for a hellish ride, especially if you enjoyed that film, because this is Blade, but an animated film with a female character. When the anime starts, we're introduced with the main character, which is Saya. And honestly, I like her. They don't really give us enough for us to be pulled in with her when it comes to the emotion. And when things get bad, we begin to hope that she doesn't get killed off. But I know enough for me to see how things are going to get carried on to her by me knowing that she doesn't take shit from nobody. She's a straight arrow when it comes to her succeeding her mission. And at the same time, she is a complete badass. I do love the way she carries herself. After we're introduced to her character and noticing how badass she is, we are already showing off the main mission where she's supposed to go to this military school and see what is really going on when it comes to a couple of people that is disguised as humans that are really demons. Now, I thought the pacing of this was necessary. By Saya being the main character, they're not going to try to focus too much on everybody else because by her carrying the weight of the film, we have to know enough of how things are going to get played out with her and her journey. So again, I thought that this was well done. When we are introduced to this military school, this is when Sai begins to go into an investigation ratio to notice anything strange. Now, this is where the film begins to be. This is where things gets important for me. Because by this being a vampire horror thriller action film, I want to see how things are going to be coming up when it comes to the pacing of the action, pacing of the tension, pacing of the scares, and most of all, pacing of the enemies and how they're going to reveal themselves. And let's say that the tension of this scene when she goes into this military school was done perfectly in a way where all these characters and all these students and a couple of these teachers begin to come up to Saya and try to introduce themselves to her. So, in the most part, they seem normal, but that's when we begin to try to pay attention of any type of unusual behavior with them. And I thought that was well done. Very good tension, especially when we do begin to pick up certain things that's not really right. And the movie knows this. They don't really give us too much, but at the same time, they know when to take things out and when to put things in. And I thought that was well. I thought that was well paced, especially before things end up getting bad. And things do get bad because when Saya begins to find out who is really a demon, things get intense very quick. They show us a lot of action, they show us a lot of blood and gore, and they show us a lot of good scenes of what these demons can do. And honestly, these demons act more like werewolves in a way, but more in an aggressive tone because, man, they rip apart humans. They literally brutalize them to the point where I even thought that there are times where Sai can get fucked up, and there are more than just one demon. There are a few of them, but there are times when she tries to confront even one of them, and there are times I even thought that by her fighting that one demon, that she can get fucked up. And when it was nighttime, that was when the demons acted even more ferocious. And that's when the film began to show us even more creepiness and more of the fear aspect, because they wanted to show us what these demons can do when the lights is off. Hey, I did not. Well, let's just say I was a little scared. I'm not even going to try to bullshit with that. But at the same time, it pulled me in to the point where I was already on the fear aspect of these demons, but it made me even more scared. It made me even more vulnerable to Saya's character to see if she was going to overcome this. This anime is good of pulling me in when it comes to the fear aspect of just vulnerability and seeing if the main character was going to survive. They want to push you to make you think that maybe this may be too much to the main character. I like the fact that they showed this off and they revealed the demons, especially the Halloween party scene. I was traumatized as a kid watching that scene. And me watching it now, let's just say nothing has changed. We get pushed further and further into the film. The film gets even more intense. The stakes gets even more higher and higher and higher. And I'm have to say, I was pulled in from start to finish, especially the ending, when everything was beginning to fall in place for Saya's character. I was beginning to worry if she was going to make it out of this alive, because by her trying to defend herself and by her trying to protect the teacher that was in the wrong place in the wrong time, her trying to fight off multiple demons by using a broken fake sword that she had stole from an antique shop and struggling to survive to wait for backup to come, I really felt on edge. I really was beginning to think that this was going to be it for her, no matter what the circumstance was. I love this anime so much to the point where even when they showed me all this, I wanted more of it, especially when they showed the very ending scene of this anime, when they wanted us to know more about Saya's character, of why she was doing this. I thought this anime pulled me into the point where I wanted to know more about the Blood series, because I know they have series that got other OVAs, and I heard they even got a live action film. I might probably stay away from that, but we'll see. I gotta look at footages first. I'm gonna have to give Blood the Last Vampire an A+. When I watched this film again as a child growing up, just to refresh my memory, nothing has really changed that much. The only thing that has changed is just the knowledge of this film and just how everything stands for. Other than that, I'm satisfied that I came across this film. This is actually a big shout out to my cousin who has introduced me to this movie. But that's all I got to say for today. Please stay tuned for more upcoming reviews and anime videos headed your way. This is Hugo, your critic teacher, and you guys have a good day.